In opposition, Mr.
Please
Speaker.
proceed in
Thank you.
opposition.
I think it's really polarizing to categorize this as a jobs or environment bill. Just the premise is misguided. Everybody wants to see people get back to work. Everybody wants to see people do well. The economy has not been cooperative. It has been a tough several years. So likewise, as some people are offended by certain comments and insinuations, I don't believe it's fair to say that anybody is supporting people staying out of work. There are problems that are fundamentally wrong with this state as far as the economy, getting people back to work. There are timing, there's financing constraints. The money markets have dried up. Believe it or not, the financial crisis of several years ago is still reverberating in all aspects. So there's not much money for construction projects. As far as the thought of going back and talking to your community, I got to tell you, I talk to my community all the time. I've got it every 2 weeks. I've got a newsletter. I got an article in the North Shore News, and people are very, very behind the position that I present on this floor. There is no question that the public, if the public were aware of this, and if this were coming up for a public vote, it would not pass. There is no question in my mind. There are other elements going on here. There are people that would like to vote no. They might not. And so everybody's going to vote their conscience. I'll grant that everybody will vote as they will. I think you cannot avoid a couple of simple facts. This bill does allow the governor to wave his magic wand and exempt projects. It does exempt SMA permits and shoreline setbacks for certain state governments. It does exempt all permits and requirements for submerged lands. We've talked about this again and again throughout the last few months. These are bad policy decisions. There are processes for exemptions. And when we write into statute that the governor may, and just for those people who say, gosh, those guys never read the bill, I take exception to that. We do read the bills. Here's one. The governor may establish the list of exemptions without necessity of approval from the Environmental Council or compliance with the procedures established by the Environmental Council or adoption of the rules under Chapter 91. The governor, therefore, has greater awareness of what may or may not constitute environmental impacts. We have an agency for that. That is specifically what they do. They work with agencies. It's called the Office of Environmental Quality Control. They have exception lists. DLNR is often mentioned as an agency having a problem. DLNR has worked with the Office of Environmental Quality Control. They have agency lists. They have lists for fencing that they're going to put up in the watershed. Yes, the exemption list could take up to several months to get, but that list then is useful as a guidance for each project as they go along. If you build a restroom facility in the middle of downtown, it may not have much impact, but if you build it in the middle of a marsh, it may have a completely different impact. Somebody should take a look at that. The people that are so opposed to this rule, what I call the heinous omnibus, the people are opposed because we're allowing us to close our eyes. Close our eyes. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead. It's going to be fine. The state would never do wrong, which brings up the other question of if the laws are so bad, why not just void them and go back? So we're at a watershed moment, folks. This is the year where everything turns. On one side, you had what used to be environmental protection, and one side you've got some arguments to say, let's repeal them. Everything can use refinement. Streamlining can always be improved. There are processes that are in place, and I just think this is reckless to do this. So thank you all for listening, and please have a nice day.
Thank you very much.